When I first got the idea of an outdoor kitchen to cook directly from the garden, I thought my woodworking skills would help me, only to learn just how much I didn't know. Little by little, the cover for the kitchen began to take shape. And you, like me, cheered when I finally got the roof up, almost like that was the end. But I continued to work on it as a behind-the-scenes project while preparing the spring garden. I read once that every ending creates a new beginning, and that was the case with the roof. Getting it up was only the beginning of protecting it from the weather. A forecast of rain meant I had to rush to put on a felt covering that would prevent water damage. The easiest way to do that was to measure the length of the roof and then cut the lengths I needed. It didn't help that after each cut, Sunny Girl wanted to make it her new resting place.
Get off. Get off.
I'm afraid of heights, so I really had to work around getting the felt in place without actually getting up on the roof. I got it done by rolling the felt in place and then lying on part of the roof while firmly anchored to the ladder. With the felt stapled in place, I decided to come back and put in side straps to anchor it to the frame to make sure wind couldn't get under the felt and tear it away from the roof. It looked a little ragged, but it reassured me that a heavy thunderstorm would not undo all my hard work. And I got it done just in time because the predicted rain did come and would have soaked the roof. However, I later discovered that the wind was still able to pull some of the felt loose, and I finally had to resort to using a tarp until I could put on the shingles. Then came putting in hurricane ties that would prevent the roof being lifted up and blown away by hurricane winds. These were simple enough to do, but required time and lots of screws to make certain the roof rafters were tied to the frame. The next must-do was putting in a drip edge flashing. I learned it's needed to move water away from the roof edge. This required me to paint on roll adhesive, followed by roofing nails to make sure the drip edge was tightly attached to the roof. I didn't film most of this because it required a lot of back and forth balancing on the ladder. But here is a view of a finished edge. With all that done, I could now use that same roll adhesive to put on the roll shingles. I followed pretty much the same method I used for the felt underlayment, by cutting to length and then nailing the unrolled sheets, overlapping it in place. I didn't get to film this either because, frankly, I didn't want to chance filming myself falling off the roof. And yes, I had to get up on the roof to nail on the shingles. Now that the roof was finally completed, I could focus on making a trellis backdrop so the kitchen frame wouldn't look so bare. I decided to cut costs by using 6-inch fence pickets. I planed the pickets to get a smooth finish, but using a sander would have given the same effect. It just would have taken a little longer. Then I cut 2-inch strips that would give me 3 strips per picket. With the strips cut, I also cut a 1-inch guide that I would use to space each strip. That 1-inch guide really came in handy to keep the installation of the strips consistent. When I think about all the work that went into getting the roof built, the busy work of the trellis was actually a fun project. I didn't place trellis strips all the way down because I might need moving around room near the bottom. I just went with line of sight for the back. And I put in a solar-powered light fan combo that would provide a cool breeze in addition to light in the evenings. And there was the completed roof with finished felt underlayment, drip edge flashing, shingles, and trellis background. I learned a lot along the way and also developed newfound respect for people who do construction, and especially roofers. What seems simple to the untrained eye involves a lot of math and carpentry knowledge, in addition to courage to work high up off the ground. I came back later and turned on the fan light combo to see how much light it would provide. I think it looks pretty good, and all that remains is to create a butcher block top so I can install a sink, faucet, and stove. But before I start a new beginning, It feels good to allow myself to rest a moment in the here and now. See you next time.